Welcome to the Mixtape Queens podcast. On today's episode, we have one of the dopest rap duos out today, the Freedom Renegades, aka Holistic Meditation and MC Monkey D. These kings dropped their newest project, Freedom Renegades Hidden Treasure, last year in 2023, releasing fire songs like Freedom and Gimme.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having us. Good job remembering our names too. A lot of people don't realize that we're the Freedom Renegades together, but I'm Holistic Meditation. He's MC Monkey D. So good job with that.
We figured it out, and you guys did confirm that you are brothers too.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we have Nathan with the headband, long locks, and Chris
on the
Yep.
left with me.
Yes. We're so happy to have you guys here and find out more about you. You guys are really growing with your music. There's a lot of fans who are curious to know more about you, where you come from, what you do. We know that you're in Boise, Idaho. You guys can rap your ass off. I don't know how to say it. I just urge everybody to go listen to your stuff. I would call it somewhere spiritual, conscious, revolutionary, old school. It's a mix. It's eclectic. It's
Literally.
everything. How would you describe your sound for somebody who hasn't heard you before?
These
I would put it as conscious hip hop, just to be, plain and simple. I would say it's just conscious hip hop. Good lyrics, high quality lyrics that are moving to people's soul, to uplift people, but also too with that old school vibe of just raw dopeness. No, I think you said it well too about eclectic. Like our style is very, like my last album has 10 different styles on it. Like everything from country to southern rock to old school boom bap, like anything that sounds good to us, we just try to put some conscious lyrics on it and tell people they're amazing in as many ways as possible.
period.
Yeah, I even heard like some funk, soul, even like
Yeah.
reggae vibes on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys do your lyrics? I know you guys are all about freestyle. Do you guys only freestyle? Do you write? How do you do it?
These
So what we do on TikTok every day is we just get on there and freestyle. That's how we make our money. But more importantly, we try to use freestyle to lead them into our written music. I'm on my 5th album right now. Chris, you working on your 3rd? Yeah. Chris is working on his 3rd. We do solo stuff mostly. We have one group album, but our performance live is always together. But I prefer to focus more on the written stuff, although the freestyle is a blast. It keeps everything fresh. But we kind of use the freestyle to bring people into our written music.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
makes sense.
we saw you guys did a live performance recently. Maybe had a couple shows. Tell us more about that. It looked like a big turnout.
Like people were lined down the block. Okay, they
Yeah.
just wanted to hear the fire.
It was a wild, wild show, and I probably shouldn't even get too crazy into what it was, but it was the craziest show we've ever been a part of. It was called Hash Bash. A lot of people, a shitload of people showed up, but I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it, honestly. I mean, it was a crazy show because of the nature of the show being a hash bash show. It was there wasn't a lot of alcohol being participated in, but I mean, they were smoking, man. They rented out the entire hotel. And let everybody smoke in it. So there was a stage in the middle of the hotel, and then all the rooms went around it and faced it. And so like while we were performing every song, my throat was raw. There was so much smoke in the air. It was insane. I've never been a part of anything like this. They rented out a whole hotel. They said it cost them $30,000 just to clean the hotel when we're done, and just to get the smoke smell out of there. But they rented a really nice hotel with a pool. They had like stripper poles, and like it was crazy. It was a wild, wild show. But it was fun. It was cool because they rented the whole hotel out, and every room was booked. And I think that every room was booked for mostly vendors, because they had a lot of vendors there selling their product and stuff. But like the line, like we took a photo of the line. You guys probably saw that online, I imagine. And those guys aren't vendors. They're obviously just people who come to participate in the event. and whether they're buying product or just coming to check it out or be part of it all together. But man, so there just the combination of how many. There's probably like in that hotel. There's probably like 4 or 5 thousand people in there at one given time. Yeah, and it was just they had a ballroom set aside for all the vendors, and that ballroom was insane. Like you couldn't move in there. There's probably how many? I would say there was like 200 vendors.
Yeah,
and all of them were just.
It was wild.
They were all prepared. They had so much product to get rid of. It was crazy to be part of it, to go in there and see, all being from a state that's illegal, and after getting out of a prison sentence for that, just like a week and a half ago prior to our show, it was quite a difference in worlds in terms of being in Idaho, but also too going from coming off a prison sentence for myself and then going to a world like that. I'm like, holy crap, man!
Michigan was a whole different feel.
This is
it's not Idaho.
Yeah, it's definitely a good transition, for my life at least.
But man, the show was a lot of fun. We met a lot of really good people. Plus, it was probably the most we've ever been paid for a show. They flew us out there, put us up in there. All in all, it's like for him just getting out of prison and then us jumping right into that, it was crazy. And all of this led from a couple reels that blew up on Instagram. They were already taken off on TikTok, but one of them went to like 15, 20 million.
I think it's at like 12 million.
Not just that one though. With
all together,
yeah.
That one video on all platforms is probably like 20 million.
All of it just coming from like a reel. It's amazing the way that music is moving in that way of like what's really getting people booked is like a good reel. Aside from like old school antiquated ideas of playing live shows and hoping to get noticed, like you have direct access to every human being with a phone, and blowing up a reel takes you God knows where. So it's pretty cool to see that like a lot of people are fighting the new age of how it's moving, but for us it works way better than anything else we've ever done.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible to think that these of real, that's how powerful, first of all, that's how powerful social media is. For you to be able to, both of you, work on this craft of yours for over 15 years, and you posted a reel these or a TikTok and got 20 million views.
Yeah.
And that's why that's
in
just
total.
a testament to music and artistry, because we have so many talented people around the world right now that are trying to make a break, and nowadays it's like we were just talking about the record labels and the deals. Some of them are so shisty, and it's almost like you're getting ripped off. And being an independent artist is the dream. And people get this excuse, oh, we don't have money to invest in marketing. We don't have a manager. But y'all just put your hearts into it. You did what you love, and it shines. It shines through your lyrics. It shines through the effort, the energy. And it's just a testament for people not to give up, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's free too. Like every, putting out the reels, not only is it free, but our Instagram before that took off, it took 12 years to build it to 3,900 followers. And then within 2 reels, we went to like 94,000. Like the amount of time we put into building this thing before we really got like on the idea of what reels are and how powerful they are. We worked our asses off for almost nothing. And then like overnight, these things just take us off to a whole new level. Like it's wild. It's just like, I don't even know. I can't like stress enough to new artists to like put out reels, put out TikToks every day and highlight your own music. Cause it's a cheat code into getting people to find it, especially if you're dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Period.
Do it.
Okay, that's a gem. Just in case anybody that's listening, you want to hear something that really resonates, that's gonna change everything that you do. Just listen to that part again and again, because when it comes to how the music industry is being presented nowadays, this is how you do it. That's what you call marketing. You don't need a big budget, though that might help. You don't need an extremely large budget to push your music anymore. You don't even need a manager.
Yeah, I've always been on the in the belief that since with our music personally, I've always known that it was really good, and I just needed to be heard, and we would take shots in the dark in different ways to try to get our music out, and you know, throughout the years, just whether that was touring or doing live shows or whatever, just making the music and putting it out. And then when we started to pivot to try TikTok, and we started getting our niche underneath us and the way that we do our style of content. Um, Once we started to dial it in, you know, we started to really see a lot of growth and get outside of this local bubble that we felt like we were trapped in for so long. And that pivot, you know, just changed the game for us, changed our direction. As time goes on, we have less and less time to just to execute the stuff that we need to execute. You know, we have to make a list and try to.
Every day we're at 7 a.m. trying to get something done, and then he works a full-time job. So it's hard. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is. It's just it's hard to balance. We have to be very diligent about balancing our time and executing on the things that we need to execute on, because we'll do our live and then we'll sell our merch and have to take that out and then take care of whatever else stuff that we have on our list to, you know, to make sure it's taken care of and keep moving forward. But that's part of the being independent. You know, it's harder to stand on your own 2 feet and be free, but also at the same time, you reap your own rewards. So, and as that applies to the like being signed, you know, those guys kind of, in my mind, it's one of those things where you can get a lot of exposure for what the record label can offer you, depending on what tier you are as an artist on their record label. Which, if you're just getting signed and you'll have a lot of leverage, you're not going to be a high tier, so they're not going to be putting a lot of push behind you. Um, but you know, doing it this way, we get the money that people. We're talking about it off screen, but you know, we heard stories of people that have like $500,000 advance, and then they only getting 16% of their profit, so they have to pay that advance back through that 16% that they're getting. But us, we could make eons less money than that specific artist would, but at the same time, we're probably pocketing more because it's ours, you know. So it's there's gives and takes to that dynamic, but from the way that we're approaching it and with the traction that we have underneath us at this point, it isn't. They'd have to offer us a lot for it to be worth our while, rather than just continue the path we're going and keep growing it ourselves and keep pocketing all the money.
Well, and a lot of people don't tell you about record deals is like you have to recoup the money they give you only with the 16% you get. So let's say you make $1,000,000, your 16% has to cover that, not like the whole amount that you made, your 16%. Like they made a shitload of money and you still haven't made it back, even though they made it back 5 times. Your 16% has to cover the advance they give you. They don't tell you that, like, they're just robbing you blind. It's like, it's crazy. And like he said, like, even if we made 10 times less money, we actually came out owning our masters and making probably a similar amount by the time you get done paying them back. It's like, man, it's just such a scam, honestly. It really is.
And all the potential still exists. Like if you make a banging song, and it may not go giant right off the bat, but if it ever does, it's yours to reap all the rewards that come from it. You know, so you're not losing opportunity down the road from it either. You know, it's just harder for in the beginning. You know, it's hard to build a snowball, and when you start pushing it, you know, it doesn't compact very fast. But once it gets big enough, it gets its own traction and turns into a giant fucking avalanche. You know?
Can we cuss?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
A little too late for that. No,
we
no,
do.
you're good.
I'm a sailor.
No, that's okay.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
Um,
So y'all are kind of in this transition because you've been working so hard on your craft all these years, and now that these eyes are on you and your audience is growing, your fan base is growing, you're starting to shift into this, like you said, balancing. You're working, you're doing this. Now you really got to wake up at 7 a.m. Like, okay, we got to do these songs, get these freestyles, do this merch, and you become your own manager, your own
boss.
yeah, your own business CEO of your music. That's interesting because, we have a lot of artists that are trying to do the same thing. What are some advice that you can give people in a day-to-day setting that's trying to balance their music in their life?
I would say just get started. You know, you're never going to get anywhere if you don't start. So no matter how you feel about it, you know, whether if it's feeling hesitant, you know, there's no time but the present, and all you can do is get going with it. And I would advocate start as young as you possibly can. You know, I started when getting serious about it when I was like 19. I'm 33 now. But you know, all the time and effort that we've put into this and all the work that's accumulated, we have developed all the necessary tools to execute to, you know, a level that is respected by people. So, you know, throughout that time, whether no matter how you feel about it, if you get started and you stay diligent and stay disciplined with what you're doing, then you're gonna accumulate those same type of tools, whatever gears towards your specific niche or whatever brand type of music you do. You know, and for us, over that time, it's accumulated to where now all the things that you just went over, you know, we can execute on all of it with ease because it's just what we've learned to do. And now, you know, we can put it out to people and it'll reach masses. So we'll have good quality sound because like Nate is like a boy genius over here. He knows how to run, like he can figure out anything when it comes to technology. So he taught himself how to record. Well, he actually learned from a guy, but he, you know, he can record all our stuff. He taught me how to record. And then when it comes to marketing it all and putting it on social media and the way that we do our content, you know, it's all accumulated from just putting in time and effort and then slowly, you know, sifting out the shit, saying, oh, we don't like this. This didn't work. Let's stick with this. Let's try this, you know. And over time, if you so eventually, if you're good, eventually something's going to fucking stick. Something you're going to hit, you know, and it'll catch people's attention when it does. If you have that in your wheelhouse in terms of like, then your tool belt of shit that you can act like refer to and say, let's try this, let's try this. Then it's only going to be better. So I would say just get started at a young age if you can. But even if you're not in the age that, you know, 19, 20, 21, that doesn't matter. I'd say if you're passionate about it, get going on it. You know, you never know the impact you're going to leave on the world and the people around you.
A lot of what changed, though, really in the beginning, that a lot of people make a mistake of is like what changed for at least me when things started getting bigger was every day I made a decision. I will work on music no matter what every single day, even if it's only for 30 minutes. I'll either write music and just keep building a threshold. Like you're pushing this threshold out constantly. And no matter what, once I decided to do that every day, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm working so hard on music. Like they really aren't. They're working on it once a week. They're really not dedicated to it. And you can, I think you should be working a job until you can make it work for you. Most people are just going to jump into it and start making money. Like you can take the time, support yourself, make sure you can, but every day spend time on doing something that you actually care about. Put time into building this thing, and eventually you can call it luck, destiny, the threshold. It doesn't even matter. At some point, it breaks if you care about it and you're good. You got to also know, like, believe in yourself. Like, if you're not good, you're not good. Find something else. But if you really love it, like I used to think I was good. When I go back and listen to it, it drives me nuts how bad it is. But all that time built up into being good. And so every day, just putting time into it, it'll eventually break through if you just, and even if you don't, the quality of your experience was completely transformed on a daily basis to where life was worth living. Even if it goes nowhere, you care about what you're doing. And so every day you do something you fucking love. And that's beautiful. Even if it doesn't work, at least you got time to have a quality shift in your life that's not mundane.
You know, I've always had like this like idea of terms of like when you start out, like when I started out, I could I could like feel the the what would be the word for it? Like the quality of music that I could produce. I knew I wasn't there in my skill set yet, but I could tell that it was in me. I'm like, I know, I can hear this. I can feel the music. I can hear it, and I know that I have something great to put with it. But you know, when you first start out, you're not. It's just like you know, Michael Jordan. You don't build Rome in a day. You know, so you have to stay committed to that and have an understanding of yourself in that regard too. To say, you know what, I know that I can produce something that is amazing, but it just takes time to get to that level.
It's funny how the delusion in the beginning, though, also carries you through it. Like thinking you're dope, even if you're not. Like
that's
the delusion helps pull you a little.
I think
bit.
There's a balance of too of like when people know they're good, they're like, I have something to offer this. But you have to have a certain level of delusion too, because no one's listening. You know, so you have to be like, I know that I can get this where I see it in my mind's eye, but the only way to get through it is by staying disciplined and diligent with your craft, whatever that is, you know.
And be thankful for the people. There's always like one or two people that believe in you. Be thankful for those people that are like, people just need to hear you. You're dope, because that helps pull you a little bit too.
We're lucky too, because a lot of people don't make it to that point where other people are reinforcing it. You know, you got to be your own cheerleader all by yourself for a long time, potentially. You know, depending on the artist, it differs, but you have to have the strength to be your own cheerleader until others come along and also are like, hey, dude, this is fucking the shit, you know?
And most likely the people in your hometown and your friends aren't going to be the people that are like really behind you. Like I've noticed as we've got bigger, people that don't know us are like, these guys are so dope. But people that do are like, these are just the brothers that used to get in fights and just hang out at school all the time, you know?
That part. Strangers will support you more than your own family a lot of the times.
Yeah, but I think that just comes with you branching out, you doing something completely different than what they're used to you doing. I heard this quote one time. They said that when you change and when you decide that you want to live a life that's different from people's regular pattern, or you change the person that these people love and know, it's like you're killing off a person that they know. Like you said, you have to persevere beyond that. And when you go for it the way that you have, like, I love that you said you write your music or you work on your music every single day. Like you push yourself to, because honestly, that is very inspiring to me as a writer. I need to be writing every single day.
Yeah.
I don't do that, but I like that because that's almost like the universe using you as a vessel to spit that knowledge at me.
It's life changing when you realize that, like, for some reason, it will reward you going a direction and believing in yourself.
The heart's intention is so powerful, and it's like you get to believe that, right? And you know it, but then you wake up the next day and you're like, damn, am I really the shit? And then you got to be ready to eat shit. Like if you don't really want it, you don't have the intention for it, it's not in your path, then it's not going to come that easy. You got to be ready to fight for it.
I agree.
You know, all the top people in the industry right now, they can tell you there were probably thousands, maybe hundreds, or maybe just a few people that were really like in the industry that they wanted to absolutely be signed by. And these people told them, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't really want you. I don't think that it's going to work out. And they persevered beyond that because, like you said, you have to have some point of delusion, like,
Yeah.
I can't go back. I've already had a taste of what it's like to really be me. So I have to push forward in that, knowing that that is who I am.
You're gonna die anyways. You might as well spend some time doing something you love. You know, people always have a perspective like, oh, you're going this unknown path and wasting your time. To them, what looks ridiculous, but like you're gonna die. It's gonna be ridiculous living a life that you hate. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of powerful messages and spiritually resonating messages, like revolutionary topics that y'all talk about in your lyrics. What are some of the social issues that you guys are passionate about?
You know, honestly, I don't even consider that much. For me, I just, when I sit down to write music, whatever feels like powerful inside of me and matches the tone of the beat, it seems to come out perfectly. Like, I think just spending time with yourself in a good amount of silence allows you to have like be able to hear your inner voice, and all that justice shit aligns itself when you listen to yourself. And you may clash up against it the whole entire time, but when I make music, if I'm listening to myself, it's something I can stand behind. And so that ability to just be quiet and listen to that voice will make all that stuff fall in line. You don't have to like, I don't pick things to be for or against. I think that's, to me, it's a waste of time, because whatever pops up, I'm going to know how I feel in that moment, and I don't need to pick things to be for and against. In fact, I think it's a waste of time to even be against things in life. Like, everything has its own beauty, and in the right time, it can be used in a beautiful way. And I think life knows what it's doing. I don't need to fight that or pretend to get on a soapbox so that people think that I'm like virtue signaling. Like, I just make music that feels authentic, and that leads its own path.
I feel
Yeah.
that.
I love that. I love that response.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
I don't pay any attention to anything political or, when it comes to social justice type issues. I just let love guide the way. I know that love cuts through everything and all these things that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis in terms of the world. Like, the world's fucked up. That's all there is to it. The world's a fucked up place right now, and there's a lot of problems. There's always been a lot of problems. I think in the world we live in right now, it's only amplifying. But at the same time, I think people should just keep loving their hearts, and that'll guide you. You know what I mean? Not be judgmental in too many harsh ways towards individuals, that whether they're like-minded or not towards you. We're all people, so we shall be loving to each other and treat each other like a neighbor. You're going to get into disagreements with people, arguments and shit like that. But at the same time, if you can remain a loving person, then that's going to be what can guide you in the world. So that's what I focus my intentions on in terms of my music too, is just letting love guide me and writing things out of my heart.
I think that's a good answer too, because it's not creating opposition to anything. It's caring about everybody, no matter how stupid they're acting or not. That love is not creating an opposition, so it's caring about everybody.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You don't really hear that a lot, but I definitely resonate with that because, the world will harden your heart if you let it.
Yeah.
If
And there's
if you
too
let
much.
it, it's
Yeah, you're right.
There's
you
too
know,
much shit like that. Like, to pay attention, for me, it's paying attention to shit like that is just a waste of my mind space, dude. Like, I can't sit there and get involved in all this shit that comes along on a daily basis, when it's just going to take away from my mental capacity, my space to stay focused on what's important to me, you know. And the things that are important to me are a lot more less important to other people probably. But I'm just over here trying to carve my fucking path every day. That's all I give a shit about. Just, putting my life in the exact place that I want to get it to, getting outside of a regular job like he mentioned earlier, and doing music full time. And I would be. There's like TikTok might get banned. That's one. I would have already quit my job to pursue music full time, but there's a couple of just little things I'm just waiting to see how they play out. But yeah, it just takes too much fucking energy to sit there and focus and get wound up over shit that has nothing to do with me.
And you can't really control it either. Like, you can control what's in your bubble. That's it.
But
you're concerned for these things that you can see on the TV. If you're not there, then what are you going to do about it? Like, the best thing you can do is create a bubble around you of fucking love. And wherever that moves, it will affect the world. Like, what's that saying they always say? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's all it is like letting a small fire become a blaze just by your bubble affecting people. And luckily, the music that we make happens to do that. And so we use what we can, but really it's just about caring about your bubble and the people around you.
And that's what I was going to say too, is your music, what I do in my life can kind of transcend those things. It may not be specifically geared towards any social issue specifically, but it can turn a person's heart light on, through what I do. So it can make a difference. And if it's reaching a big enough audience, then it can really make a bigger difference. So I think that those things are beautiful, and it's quite a blessing to be in the position we're at right now, and hopefully growing it to where we see in our mind's eye, to be reaching all the masses one day.
It's interesting and it's so beautiful to hear you guys say that because, we all have ideas of how we want to make things better, but if you just kind of let things go and focus on love, look how far it can take you. And we believe music is medicine. So y'all are literally like prescribing love through your music. And it's interesting because this is coming from two people, like you're saying, TikTok might get banned. That can, cut off some of your income. And Chris, what you went through with your situation with the marijuana industry and how you can just go a couple states over and they're, living it up, living the dream, smoking it up, blazing it up. And then you go home and it's like you can be in so much trouble. Your life can be almost ruined for it. And it's like, Y'all really embody that love, and it really shows. Can you guys tell us what is in store for the Freedom Renegades and possibly for your solo music as well?
I got a new album coming out. We're doing a album release July 20th and at the Reef here in Boise. Definitely the most proud I've been of any project. And then, God, I don't know. As far as the music, we never really know. We just sit down and make content and see where the hell it takes us. And so far, it's worked really well. It kind of pulls us in directions like we could guess at where we're going, but we really don't know. We just try to. What we're gonna do is take my album that we're making right now, that I'm almost done with, and make a bunch of reels around that. Try to highlight as much of the music as we can and blow it up just like we did recently. So
we're gonna do a little bit of a pivot in that regard. Like he's got his album that he wrote while I was locked up, and I actually just had a mixtape drop. The very last song of it just dropped on the 1st of April. So I have a mixtape that just came out too. But we're really gearing our energy towards pivoting because the content that we'll make online right now is a lot of stuff that is over famous beats. We'll put our lyrics on famous beats so we can get. Initially, we're like, we can get people's attention like that by using a beat that they already fucking know, that they're like, oh, I like this and I recognize this. You know, it takes them back to sometime in their childhood or whatever. They like it for whatever way. And then we put something over the top of it to bring in the audience initially. But now we want to gear it towards the original music, because we see how much traction we get from people from doing cover songs that cover beats and then putting our lyrics over it, but they're not necessarily geared towards our original content. But if we have even one that takes off even a little bit, that will flood that market, the people into our marketplace in terms of our original music, which is, you know, the biggest thing. Because then we'll be able to go all over the place and sell shit out, you know. And the more of them that we can do well, we already have the niche down. We already have all of our tools in our tool belt in terms of how we want to address the situation. But if we can hit it even once, then it'll change everything in terms of people coming to our Spotify, going to our YouTube and checking out our original music, which will all transition into live shows and people coming and seeing us for our music in different cities all over, you know. So that's pretty much, that pivot is a big part of where we're gearing to move forward. But, you know, just take it higher.
Short answer, who knows?
We taking it higher. That's all we can say.
Elevate. It's time to elevate every single day.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, we're hype about that. And I'm urging everybody to listen to you guys rap. And, you know, would we be blessed enough in this moment to hear something?
Living it. Some acapella.
Yeah.
We can do the second verse of Bounce.
If you want to, we can do that.
Okay.
Come and bounce with me, baby. Hip hop's my damn thing. I don't need to pop Glocks away some thick chain. Yo, I hop up on stage and you never see me panic. Maybe faith is moving mountains, but my pen is moving plans. See, I am to hip hop what magic is to witches. I am to perfection what the ocean is to fishes. I am to intelligence what money is to riches. I'm the Alpha and Omega. I'm the truth of all religions. I'm the Buddha, Krishna, Yahshua Ben Yosef. Test the Aristotle combination. Diagnosis. I'm the reason everything even decided to exist. I'm the infinite's opinion of what it thinks of the shit. Prime radiant, radiating in every living thing. I'm created and celebrated the nature of my being. Liberated, accelerated expression of the king. Manifested as the universe and nothingness it seems.
I heard you here on the Mixtape Class podcast. If you haven't already, go ahead and push pause and hit that description, okay? Go click the links. Link up with these awesome, dope rap duo, Freedom Renegades. Let's get it.
Yes, King.
Yes.
Y'all are amazing.
Thank you so much.
Seriously.
Amazing.
Thank you guys
it's not
so
just
much.
the rap. It's you know, it's more than it's the lyrics, the delivery, the vibe. It's everything.
The energy.
Yeah, it's the energy. It's beautiful, and we're so happy to have had this conversation with y'all. Y'all gave us so much inspiration, motivation. We want the world to hear it, and we promise we won't ever stop until they do. We want everybody to go to mixtapequeens.com and subscribe to the podcast. And also in the links, like we said, go listen to Holistic Meditation and Freedom Renegades, Monkey D. We love you guys so much, so much. And you guys got us in your corner anytime. We plan on seeing you one day at one of these smoke out session,
Okay.
super hotel parties.
We need an invite.
Yeah. So, you know,
Hell yeah.
we're sending y'all all the love, all the blessings on your path, and we hope that y'all are safe out there. And we hope that you guys have a great journey, spreading that love and spreading the music.
Yes.
Thank you for having us on. Anytime you guys want us back, feel free to let us know. But seriously, you guys are both amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sending y'all so much love. You kings have a beautiful and blessed rest of the night.
Yeah, you too. See you later.
Thank you guys.